Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome back to Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything in Idle Champions. I've been told I'm Gaarawarr, and today, I keep looking up, this is my birthday weekend. And it's super special for multiple reasons. One, I get to share a stream with all of you today and tomorrow. And tonight, I play my first ever game of D&D with my friends, with my stream friends. It's going to be me and Mars. Hopefully, he's trying to get out of work early. And Sean and Margaret and Lee and Sean's other half, Nevada. And it's all going to be DM'd by the fantastic and wonderful Lauren Urban from D&D Beyond. So, super excited, super excited. Happy birthday to me. Starting off the stream there. Woo! So today, we're just going to do all the questions. I think I put on topics Avernus because we have new content in Avernus this weekend. We went back to hell because it's 2020 and we really should just get a timeshare at this point. And we also have a free Timegate weekend, so we're going to talk a bit about Timegates, but just a little bit because tomorrow's deep dive Gaarawarr's Guide is going to be about Timegates and combat. So just, I figure people are going to have questions about what they should pick for their Timegate, and that's totally okay. Do know we have been getting so many questions lately, which is awesome because so many people have been showing up, that we do have the wonderful Sasha, who is moderating both the C&E Games account, but also pulling some questions from chat, so feel free to fire away. They will gather all of those, and then I don't have to do the scrolling through chat thing I always do to get through all the wonderful conversation and find the actual questions. So hopefully we can get to all of them today. Yeah. No, and there's a chess code down there, and we found Margaret's hidden code from earlier today on Griddle Champions, from her stream. Previously, her Canadian Thanksgiving hidden code. So, I think we should probably head to Avernus, right? I did already do the basic adventures over there. So we'll go do one of these variants. What the heck? Oh yeah, because it wraps all the way around. I'm like, why do I see that all the way over there? Okay, here we go. It's up here. Yeah, we did all the ones down here. Man, this is how you know it's hell. They're like, we've got to go on a mission to save everything. Here's the path you have to take, but then you end up right there. Right there. Couldn't I have just gone right there? Right there. Truly hell, folks. Truly hell. All right. Raga Draga's crew. Various lycanthropes appear to hassle the champions with each wave. They do not count towards quest progress, nor do they drop gold. See the in-game buff icon for more information. Okay. Let's see. It's just going to automatically load in. This is the nice thing about having save formations. It just automatically loaded in my speed formation. What is Margaret's hidden code? Margaret's hidden code was Pie Thanksgiving ! Okay. No shade. Well, a little shade. What? I don't understand. But sure. Let's throw down. We don't want this to take forever, so I'm going to throw an hour of mega speed down. Yay! And it'll do its thing in the background, and it'll probably get frozen in certain places, and then I'll have to reset it, and who knows? We're just going to see. It's a question from Dave. What am I doing to celebrate my birthday? Well, I'm playing Dungeons & Dragons tonight, for one. Sure. What else? Oh, I bought a bunch of stuff. I bought way too much stuff. Yeah. I bought way too much stuff. But, I figure, hey, I deserve it, right? It's my birthday. I already got, a nice chair and everything, but I bought some stuff for the stream setup, and hopefully we'll see the effects of that next week. But I got, a new mount for my large monitor, so I can put it on this new monitor mount system I have and rearrange some things. I got a new microphone and a new interface for the mic, so hopefully the sound might be better next week. Maybe. I bought a bunch of like cookbooks, not necessarily to cook out of, but just to read because I want to learn about that kind of stuff. What else did I get? Yeah, no. Other than that, that's probably it. I mean, I'm gonna take apart this whole. If you follow me on Twitter at Gaarawarr, there was a picture that I went up when I got my chair that has like my whole streaming setup. All of this, I'm gonna tear it all apart. I'm gonna clean everything, and then put everything together in this new way with this monitor mount and the new mics and everything. And that's exciting to me because, there's not a lot of things that are really changing in my life sitting in a room in 2020 working and streaming. So changing at least this little bit of thing helps me. Oh, and I'm breaking out for the first time ever because I'm playing myself in the D&D game, Gaarawarr, who's a dwarf. I'm breaking out for the first time ever my dwarven drinking horn. Look at that. It's got this little stand, like you can take it out of the stand and put it in the stand. Yeah. Gonna use that tonight. And my math rocks. With my old school, actual from the Wizards of the Coast store bag of math rocks from the late 90s? Yeah. I have a question about favor from events. Good timing, because I think people will be converting soon from the last event. From Cafinia, I read something about not converting until you're forced to. Can you explain? I've just done the convert when event's finished, and I'm confused why. Some people like to wait. Others like to just do it right away. We've had numerous, I won't even call them conversations about this, arguments about which is better. I tend to argue that it doesn't matter one way or the other. Do whatever you want. And other people are like, no, you've got to wait. So here's the argument for waiting. I will argue their side. A lot of people think, well, they like super big numbers, so they think, well, if you wait that week until it forces you to convert and spend that entire week grinding favor in that campaign, your conversion's bigger. I mean, it looks bigger, sure. But my argument has always been, well, it's a multiplier anyway, so why not just convert it right away? And then if you're going to spend that week grinding, you'll see those rewards faster. I don't know. People like to see super huge numbers. So if you like to see super huge numbers, wait and grind. But here's the thing: if you're not going to grind at all, if you're just going to go back to doing whatever you normally do, then convert it right away because it doesn't matter. So yeah. From Shark Fighter 9000. Hey Gar, I have 41 heroes now. Nice. But I've never used my blacksmithing contracts. Oh, that's going to be fun. Is there any reason not to use them on Zorbubriv Avrin types? So, the one thing I will say is you don't want to dump them all just on 1, 2, or even 3 of your champions. If you've never used any and you have 41 heroes now, there's going to be a lot in your stockpile, I'm guessing. The major rule is never use them on core and evergreen champions because item levels come free out of silver and gold chests for those. So do focus it on event champions, which you've listed. Start with the ones that you're using a lot, like that are always in your kind of core formations, like the main formations, I should use a different term. The main formations that you're using, so that you can get a bonus out of those. But make sure they're going on champions that actually benefit well from item levels. Some benefit more than others. For instance, I've got Shandy and Deacon in this formation. They're there for speed, and item levels don't really matter for their speed. So, but item levels matter for Sentry and Melf's speed, and Briv's. So those would be better targets. If I were dumping a lot on and we're just focusing on, like, say, my speed champions, those would be targets. When I'm focusing on my damage champions and my support champions, I want to find people who actually have, like, a lot of items that support and do well for what I'm doing. So if you have champions that scale well off their items, or those abilities, like the items are affecting actually matter, then that's great. Dump into them. But I like to spread them out. Personally, I spread them out as equally as possible. So like when I'm looking to dump in, like here's if I just go to this screen, I do have obviously some event champions who I've obviously bought like chest packs for, so their item levels are a little higher. But at my base, like my floor right now for item levels is 80 for champions. I think even Torrigar now, yeah, Torrigar is even at 82. So everyone's at least at 80. So the next round of, like, once I have collected a bunch more blacksmithing contracts, I will dump in and try to get everybody to 90. Right, so I'm constantly just trying to raise the floor, and what that does for me is make it so when I do variants like this, if I'm restricted on who I can use, I'm not stuck with super low power champions. Happy birthday, Gar. My free weekend champs are Stokey, Omen, Black Viper. Who do I choose? Ooh, Omen. Mortal, I would say Omen. I mean, Stokey's awesome. She's a year one champion, which now means she's what I'm calling Timegate champion, so you can only get her out of a Timegate now. But Omen is really, like, he's got some decent buffs, but he's super solid in Gold Find. Better than Stokey, in my opinion. So I would go Omen. Gar, did you know you share birthday? Well, it isn't today, CD. It is my birthday stream, but my birthday's on Sunday. I don't stream on Sundays. And tomorrow is Gaarawarr's Guide to Time Gates and Combat, so I didn't want to be like, hey, it's my birthday stream. Like, that's off topic. So today is I'm celebrating on stream. What do I do for work? This, for one. But when I'm not doing this, when I'm not streaming, I do community management stuff. I've done everything from, like, currently I help to manage a Facebook page with a few million followers, which gets a little crazy sometimes. But I've done everything from, Twitter to Reddit to Steam discussion groups to forums I've done all the things for companies, but I do it remotely from here. Did I get a copy of Heroes Feast on pre-order? I did not. Back when it came out, money was a little questionable. And also, one of the things I look at when I buy a cookbook is, are there going to be at least a handful of recipes in there that I'm going to cook and enjoy? And I tend to be a picky eater, so for me to buy a cookbook says a lot about either the writer of that cookbook, that I just want to read about how they make things and how, like, what their thought process is. Because a lot of times cookbooks now aren't just recipes, they're stories about things. So yeah, I did not get Heroes Feast, but it may end up on my wish list. What PL are you in the game? Are we talking... I don't know what that means. I'm a noob. Player level? Power level? What am I... Cassius, clarify. And then Sasha, let me know. My free weekend champions are Stokey, Omen, Black Viper. Yeah, we already got that one. Omen. Just post your question once. Sasha should be able to grab it. I will get to it as quick as I can. Is there a way to turn off damage numbers? There is not. Like, all of these things that are showing up, I don't... If I go into settings, if you want to see what my settings look like, no, I don't see that anywhere. I've got a lot of things turned off, and a lot of things changed. Like, I keep my DPS on average. I use scientific notation. I skipped cinematics. Yeah. So I do a lot of things, but there isn't one here that says turn off damage numbers. So, yep. Is Hitch classed as an Evergreen champion? He is. So Hitch is one of currently 5 Evergreen champions. Well, I differentiate between core and Evergreen champions. So core to me are the core 12 that you start the game with for free. The Evergreens are the additional ones you unlock in campaigns or outside of an event or a time gate, right? Hitch is, you get him from the newsletter. You come up here to the main menu and you click on newsletter, do this in the game, punch in your email address, and you'll get Hitch right away. And then every week on Friday, today, you get a newsletter with a free chest that's for whatever this weekend. So this weekend the chest would drop gear for Lazaps, Briv, Ashara, Sentry, and Warden. For the Battleforge weekend, what's the chest look like? It's super small. Wow. That bug's still around. The gold scrappy chests. All right, yeah, this is a pretty cool one. This is actually Lazaps' health feature. So if you want Lazaps to be super healthy, there you go. What power level is Gaarawarr the Drunken Dwarf? He's not necessarily drunken all the time. I mean, we're running level 3 characters because it is my first ever D&D game. Actually, here. Hold on. Boom. Here's Gaarawarr. You can't see all this screen, but you're basically just losing Gaarawarr Grudgekeeper, Male Mountain Dwarf Fighter, level 3 at the top. But there's Gaarawarr stats. This is a young Gaarawarr. This is like back... I don't know. We're just kind of doing a one-shot, so it's not necessarily in a current timeline. In the current timeline, like with Icewind Dale Ram of the Frost Maiden, which arrives next week in an Idle Champions game near you, hopefully. He'd probably be in the 200 to 220-ish range, but right now this is young Gaarawarr at like 120. So still a scruffy boy with some experience left to give. Like, you can't see the picture, but his beard in this picture is still a brown instead of going gray yet. So yeah, it should be interesting. He is if we come down here, he is fighting style protection. He uses a shield and an axe, and he's a battle master. So it should be an interesting time. This will be my first, like I said, my first D&D game, but the first time I've used Gaarawarr outside of like Warhammer Online, which is where he originated. So I'm trying to build basically an Ironbreaker in D&D. Hey, I came to the game since the first season, so year 1. Anyway, using those champions, is it worth to go into time gates since this event is going on? We don't have an event going on right now. We have a free time gate weekend, so like right now, if we click up here, you can see this is free time gate weekend. Choose one of 3 free time gates to open. You only get one. Click on it, and you pick one of the 3 options that they give you at the top. And you do kind of a 3-day mini event, I guess. Hey, we completed it. Wasn't even looking. Yeah. So dive into that free time gate, because there's no event right now. Who's a better tank overall, Naeli or Tyrell? I mean, if you're asking my opinion, Tyrell, I think, is a way, way, way better tank, ultimately. In and of his own right, like if we're just comparing those two people, Tyrell has a shield that functions off his ultimate. We're going to go ahead and complete this. Wow, that was fast. Maybe I don't need that hour-long speed potion. He has a shield based off his ultimate, so once you max out like his ultimate cooldown, he can keep the shield up continuously as long as the enemies aren't doing enough damage to beat through it. And that shield can be multiples of his health. Whereas Naeli doesn't have that. She has to rely on shields and heals from other people. So yeah. But ultimately, at the end of the day, like if you're just talking about pure tanking power, but they function in different ways. Like Tyrell buffs specific people. Naeli wants, and he gives a little more freedom to your formation. Naeli wants you to be right behind her. And you can also swap, like Naeli is in the same slot as Gromma, so a lot of people do like a mountain Gromma and as a single tank frontline, and then they'll swap into, we'll do this one, but we won't do that one. And then they'll swap, as Gromma's about to die, they'll swap into Naeli, and then you get the best of both worlds. Yeah, it just depends. As in most cases, it depends, but I think just in general, if you're talking about pure ability to tank, all the things, Tyrell. My free time gate champions are Briv, Cthulhu, and Dadius. Who would be the best option? Jegathi, I think everyone in chat has probably already yelled Briv. Briv. Yeah, Briv. He's a good tank, like a good like early to mid game tank. For me, he falls off late game, but I play a different late game probably than some people just because of my item levels on like Tyrell. And he's also a speed champion. So we probably won't see him doing any of the speed things. I think I used up all of his haste stacks on that last run. So we won't see his speed stuff going on right now, but he's speedy. He's speedy. Question, please. Is it worth buying the 3 chests plus GE deals for champions for $5? Merrick the God. I think if it's something that you want, if it's an item that you want, I think on the weekends, those are great deals. Like if it's like these, like 3 chests gets you like this little double damage bonus plus the golden epic plus 3 chests. But what you might not realize is with these 3 chests, you're actually getting a guaranteed epic because if you signed up for the newsletter, because the newsletter gives you 1 chest of this kind, then you add 3 more, that gives you 4, and your pity timer for any new chest is 4. So you're not only going to get a golden epic and this little boost, you're also going to get the gear out of these and 1 epic just for $5. You know, I tend to, a lot of these like that you see that are golden epics, I've definitely thrown down $5 on numerous occasions for those. But it's, you know, it's always a kind of a subjective to your disposable income, right? Don't go spending the $5 you need for lunch and then go without lunch. Like that's, I don't know. CNE's probably going, no, dude, no, they wouldn't. They're nice people. Don't spend your lunch money. Question: will the price of the second core ever drop? I probably never. Farming has been farming for a while now, only halfway there. I literally, if we look up here, I've got 9,632 gems because I just bought mine last night. So it took since Modron and Multiparty launched, I've been grinding with this in mind, while still spending some gems occasionally, but I finally got my second core last night. So it's doable. You just have to budget for it and work towards it, and it may be a long-term goal. I didn't have anything else I was doing, so I just ground. I spent all my time farming Mad Wizards so that I could level up my first core, which if we hop in, we'll see. I'm now at 14, and I'm almost halfway through 14. So, yeah. So I've been grinding. It took me 14 levels of grinding in Mad Wizard to get the gems to buy my second core, which seems about right. Seems about right to me. So I got Rosie, Cridle, and Evelyn, and I already have Evelyn. So which time gate should I choose? Ooh. So this is tough because I have a personal love for Rosie Beestinger, the character, and I don't have a lot of connection to Cridle, the character. I can honestly say I don't know that I've found that I've been in a variant where I needed Cridle. Whereas I have been in variants that required Rosie. I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards Rosie, but here's the thing. If you like running the Baldur's Gate champs, putting them together, they work well. Like if you want to run Delina and Shandy and Minsk and Cridle, like they're an okay combination, especially early on if your gear is right. Yeah, I don't know. That one's rough. That one's real rough because normally I'd just be like Evelyn as an amazing tank, even though she's in a slot with Shandy and Krull. But yeah, if you're just picking between Rosie and Cridle, either one. Does auto progress end after a boss floor? No. No. I mean, I've been on auto progress now. We went through that entire 450 levels in 15 minutes earlier? Speed champions, folks, they're overpowered. I didn't say that. They're functioning perfectly. If you get a chest for a specific character and you don't have the character, do you just leave it alone until you buy them or actually open them? So if it's specifically named for that character, let's go see what I have here. No, I just have regular chests. Let's go over here to my Gaarawarr challenge account. Do I have anything? No, I have gold. Okay, well this is a good example. So I have the gold iCore covered chest, which is last weekend's. Well, where did I don't even remember where I got this one. Anyway, this comes with, this is last weekend's buff. Turiel, Naeli, Hitch, Evelyn, Korth, right? This is basically a weekend buff chest. If I open that, it's only going to drop gear for the champions that I own. And honestly, if you don't own any of those event champions, it's probably not worth opening yet. because event champion gear is hard to come by. So holding on to those is great. However, if it is, say, a Binwin chest, I've got Binwin out here with his candy canes. If it's a Binwin chest, you can open it right away. Because even though you don't own Binwin, because it's named for him, it's only going to drop gear for him. And that gear automatically goes in your collection up here, even though you don't have the character yet. It's just behind the scenes. But you get the benefits of getting the consumables out of that chest right away. You can use those immediately. So if it's specifically named for a champion, go ahead and open it. Because you get all the stuff out of it, no matter what. But if it is a group chest, like this Battleforged Weekend, like that Scrappy chest, you want to look to see if you have all of those characters, sure, open it. If you don't, maybe wait. It's up to you. Like if you have the two core Evergreen champions and then the one, like if you had, in this case, if you already had Ashara and you only have Briv otherwise, and you don't really care about gearing these others up right now, but you really love more gear, like better gear for Briv, then open it up, because your chance is 50-50 of getting gear for that person, right? So it's more to think about when they're the group chests as opposed to just the name chest. Name chest, open it right away. So possibly we could see Gaarawarr out as a champion. This is a long-running comment. Like, that's a deep cut, because once upon a time someone asked, I announced on stream with Dylan on one of their dev streams when they had me on as a guest that I told them for the first time I've never actually played D&D, and Dylan was like, But someone asked, like, will we see ever Gaarawarr as their champion later on, and Dylan was like, I feel like maybe he needs to be played in a D&D game first. But no, I like champions for the game come off of streams and things, so I think we would need to see a successful stream with Gaarawarr before, like a long-running stream with Gaarawarr as a champion before that was ever a thing. Which one for a time gate? Krull, Ayla, Bear went. Oh, yeah, dang it! I'm like, Krull, already have Krull unlocked. Okay, well, Ayla. Ayla's solid. Ayla's a great tank. She supports Krull in all of his endeavors, because not only does she offer debuffs as well, but she can be super tanky. She's right up there with Tyrell, in my opinion, because she provides a shield to herself every 30 seconds based off the number of electrified enemies on the screen, so she can get real healthy. And Krull likes super healthy tanks. Krull wants you to have the beefiest front line so that he has time to get plagues everywhere before things start dying. So if you don't have a super tanky front line that can withstand lots and lots of enemies beating on them for a while, you haven't yet unlocked Krull's true potential. I'm a new player, first time gate, and I'm going for the slot 3 turtle champion. Gromma Turtles, yes. I passed over the one I already have, and the other champion was already in a slot I got a double in. Any tips on Gromma? Yeah, let's go to Gromma. Let's bring Gromma Nander in. So Gromma is a C&E original champion. Some people think she's from the Force Grey stream, like this is Marisha Ray's character. No, that was Clarapin the Terrapin. Sorry, folks. Gromma Nander is a C&E original. Turtle that was created like way back, I think right after the charity streams where they started introducing turtles. She is this interesting combination of tank, support, and DPS, in the sense that her specialization can make her either a tank, a support, or a DPS. She primarily gets used over here on these two sides, like either as the tank in Mountain Spec, or as a support in Arctic Spec. Fun fact about Gromma, she gets all of her health upgrades regardless of which specialization you choose for her. So even when she's in, say, her DPS tank spec, she has all the health. So it's wild. But I tend to use her for Circle of the Arctic. Circle of the Arctic, it says right down here, she casts a Sleet Storm when she attacks. So she hits something with her staff and then casts Sleet Storm around that as like a bonus action. So the target and everything around it get hit by that. It slows their movement speed. It says are slowed by half, but yeah, their movement speed is slowed by half and their attack timers are doubled. So it slows down their attack, it slows down their movement. which basically helps to make your front line more survivable because A, the things aren't getting there as quickly, and B, they're attacking half as much. So it kind of slows down that overall progress. But bonus fun feature, once you pick this spec, if you go into Arctic at level 200, she picks up the powerhouse Freezing Breeze, and that means that enemies that are affected by that sleet storm take additional damage, and that's the big thing. So she applies a debuff that sticks around, and her debuffs stick around for a while. So, like I said earlier, a lot of people have done kind of the Gromma Nayeli swap, where they'll run Gromma and Mountain. She has a debuff there that stacks up, and then swap in Nayeli. The debuff sticks around and lingers for a while, so you can get like a bonus damage out of that. But Gromma's super easy. Like, just throw her in anywhere. I mean, you don't have to get picky about like she has to be a tank. But as a support, she can be anywhere in the formation. She doesn't need to be near somebody. Totally fine. I knew it. When my nose itches, I'm about to sneeze every time. How does one sign up for the newsletter? You come up here in the game, regardless of what client you're on. Go to newsletter. Click it. Punch in your email address. And away you go. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I'm trying to unlock mode drawn automation. So only 2 viable champs for me. Which is... Oh, from your time gate. So which is generally better between Turiel or Nova? Ooh. So, because I'm in hell right now, we'll say a quick blurb about Turiel. Turiel is a support champion in slot 1 who actually functions as a tank champion. Because what happens is you put Turiel up here in the front line, and even though they are support and have no overwhelm and garbage health, what they do is they redirect any enemies. Like if we were to pull this off, I think I'm still killing super instantly. Yeah, it's not going to matter. If the enemies could get here, Turiel would redirect them to the other tanks, and as they redirect them, they apply a buff based off the number that they're redirecting. So it basically turns a 3-tank frontline into a 2-tank frontline, or a 2-tank into a 1-tank. You just don't use Turiel in a single tank formation. But then he applies buffs based off how far back your DPS are and all this fun jazz. And yeah, Turiel's pretty cool. Speed? Question mark. This is extreme heat. We didn't talk about this real quick. Bell's Forge was built into an active volcano. As such, the formation is taking a bit of heat while adventuring. Every 3 seconds, each champion takes 10% of their max health as damage. I don't know that that's happening. Maybe? I think this one's bugged. I think a random champion is taking damage, because I'm seeing like some champions take damage. Yeah, like right now it was Ayla. Yeah, so I think it's just a random champion right now. So this one's pretty straightforward. Whenever a champion's health is below 50% of their max health, their damage is reduced by 99%. So, yeah, I think at the moment it's not quite working correctly. Everyone should be taking damage. And here's the thing. This is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this one today. When you run into a situation like this, where it's everyone in the party is taking a percent of their damage or a percent of their health and damage, you actually don't like having lots of tanks on the field. Because tanks share their health and thus raise everybody else's health. So the lower you can keep your health by not having tanks out, or by not upgrading them until you need them to be a little tankier, the better off you are. And then you run someone like we would run Calliope. Because not in the tank line, of course, but we would run Calliope because Calliope can shield anybody taking damage, and then that 10% of health could be coming out of the shields instead of like we could throw a shield down on everyone with their ult. Then the health that this effect is taking off people would be coming out of shields instead of a health pool. And then you mix her with someone like Dinar, good boy Dinar, who's coming in the Liar's Night event in 2 weeks. And Dinar can heal anybody anywhere in the formation. So use those kinds of tips for variants like this, because there are quite a few of them out there that actually do what they say they're doing, unlike this one. You play multiple idle champions in the same computer. I do. This is my Steam account that we're looking at now. So this is the one I've been playing for 3 years. The one I toggled to a minute ago is my new Gaarawarr challenge account, which we just started with the beginning of year 3. You can find more information on that on the Reddit. But it's basically a challenge for experienced players just to go back and restart an account and see what it's like to progress through the game. Now in a modern form, because the game is way different than than it was when a lot of us started playing. For instance, I unlocked Dritz after like a week of playing, which still is crazy to me. And now we're a couple weeks in. I'm in Tomb of Annihilation, and I've got like 3 full tiers of blessings on my way to unlock Azaka. It just seems like progression's super fast nowadays. So, yep, it's good. It helps me answer questions better, right? Like starting a new player account, I can answer new player questions better because now I have an even better idea of what it's like to be a new player. I had started 2 years ago, or a year ago. I had started a gearless account, which had given me good insights, but really doesn't give you the power curve that you're used to. It takes much longer to progress on a gearless account than on a geared one. Do feats stack? So I have 2 slots with Jarlaxle with Frugal and Lucky. Does it mean I get extra 35? Or does this dismiss one for the other and give 10% or 25? It's my understanding neither of those is correct. It's my understanding that each feat adds a multiplier on its own. So let's go in here. So I run the 25 and the 50. It's my understanding that you get, all of these things about gold in your parentheses multiplied by 50%, multiplied by 25%. And the reason I say that is because if we look at someone else for a second, if we look at Crawl over here, we'll just throw Pilfer in because none of this matters. The 2 feats on Crawl that you want are Venomous Touch and Increased Toxicity, because these increases Virulent Strain. It starts off at 10% base value, and when you increase it by 100% and then by 50%, or alternately by 50% and 100%, you end up at the value that we see down here of 30%, which means it is doubling it here from 10 to 20. And then it's giving a 50% bonus of another 10%, right? Because that's half of 20, taking us to 30. So they don't do either of those. They work sequentially to give you the best possible bonus. Do you get more from a bounty contract while running a potion of speed? Speed? No. I think that's in reference to the gold you earn for time. Like 4 hours worth of golden tokens. And the reason for that is it's 4 hours of game time, not 4 hours of real world time. So whether you're running a speed potion or not doesn't affect the calculation, because the speed potion is affecting in-game time and not real world time. So yeah, the only thing you need to worry about with these is, because it is worked based off offline gold, there should be bonuses, like if you have gold find groups in, you'll get a little more. I mean, you're not getting outrageous amounts of gold in this, so I don't know that you want to nitpick it that much. But the big thing is you want to make sure you're using these during events, because along with gold, they also award event tokens, and there is no other way to get event tokens. You can't make them happen faster. You can't farm them. They just happen over time. So burning these bounty contracts gets you that time, and thus those event tokens. So that's the real big thing there. Let me see. Nope, not missing anything. Okay. What are your thoughts on Havalar? I mean, I think her and her sister are pretty cool. I think as a champion, as a tank champion, I think she's okay. I think she's, for me, again, she's kind of one of those early to mid game tanks, which is why we see her in here. But she's also a speed champion, specifically against fiends, which is why I have her. You definitely want her in if you're running an Avernus, because she does a lot of things against fiends. What else do we got? She's got multi-effects. I mean, I don't play her as active. I tend to just set her stuff to this and then run. If I were trying to get... Because every time you swap her imps around, she gets different bonuses. I have it set on just on the speed one. because that's what I'm using her for. However, if I were pushing with her and we're trying to get every little bit out, she does have that manual play option of rotating to specific sets of imps to change the bonuses that you're seeing, and that can be neat. She's also got a slow, like if you fire this off, the imp goes out and explodes itself on a target and slows that target down, and that slow can stack if you do it over and over again to the point where the target's just basically frozen. A lot of people like that. Already got Zorbu and Krull. Who do you recommend next? Wow, you got Zorbu early. So my original top 5 time gates used to go Krull, Averin, Briv, and then either Alo and Morgaine, and then Zorbu. And now that I have restarted the game, I got Morgaine out of a natural time gate weekend, and then I got Krull with my first manual time gate. And now I'm like running past 300 after just a couple weeks. And I'm like, God, this takes forever. So now I'm actually prioritizing speed champions. So if you already have Zorbu and Krull, the easy plug-and-play speed champions are Deacon, if you're looking for a slot, an option in a slot you don't already have a swap for, or Shandy. But again, that's in Krull. So if you're also still trying to unlock multi-party Modron and you're just looking for an off swap, then Deacon is plug and play. He doesn't need any items to do his buff. Like you don't need item levels to get the most out of his buffs. He's just, you throw him in and he just does his thing. And Shandy's the same way. Whereas other speed champions like Sentry and Melf and Briv, they all want lots of item levels. To get, like, they improve well with item levels, otherwise their bonuses are real random. So yeah, I would say like Deacon or Shandy now, because that's what I'm hoping to get in my, well, I didn't get, this is on my main account. What did I get on my other one? Hold on. What do I get this weekend on my Gaarawarr account? Man, that's a nice bug. I get Hitch, Farida, and Slut. No, that's not right. Something's weird's going on here. I get Narak, Jim, or Kreidel. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I like any of those options, really. But I'm going to have to pick one. I'll pick one based off multi-party now. But yeah, I'm hoping for a Deacon or a Shandy soon. I'm like one time gate piece away from a manual, and since I didn't get a speed champion in this natural time gate, there will be another natural time gate weekend next weekend, but since I didn't get one this weekend, I may have to open a natural time gate once I get that piece and pick up like Deacon. I go over and play about a month, and your guides have been immensely helpful. I'm glad they helped. Make sure you hit up everyone else's guides. There's lots of different viewpoints, and sometimes it helps to read things from a different perspective. Working towards multi-party, got Shandy, Artemis, and Barrow in my time gate. I already have Krull and Torgar, and Artemis would give me a second champ in slot 3, but still not a full bench. I'm torn between Artemis and Shandy. Honestly, go Shandy. I know you want multi-party and Modron right away, but holy cow, is Shandy great in terms of just speeding up your game progress. Like, Sandy's out here, when she's got this little black arrow with the purple highlight out, she is effectively acting as a speed potion. So I had used this epic speed potion, which should just give me 2.75 times speed, right? But as you see, our current total acceleration is 4.125. That's from Shandy. Shandy is speeding up the entire game. She will do that until the party comes under attack. So she can get you to your wall a lot faster and just help you progress, both in terms of like farming, if you're farming favor repeatedly, you know, one free play after another, or if you're just trying to progress through missions real quick. I think it's okay to miss, you know, to not necessarily rush for that one major gain. She is that big of a gain, in my opinion. Because you're going to get another free time gate next weekend. So, and then the week after that, you'll get 3 more champions, right? You get Dinar and Averin, which have been announced. They're in the game. Liar's Night has Dinar and Averin. The third champion is a human, a lore-based human, fighter slash wizard. It has not, they have not been announced yet. But I think my chat nailed it early this week when we were guessing, because we got a hint from Margaret that we needed to think about Barovia. And I think it's going to be, I think chat was right. I think it's going to be Esmeralda de Avenir. I think they're right. They threw that out in chat, and then I just went full Marisha Ray down the rabbit hole, like beautiful mind, thinking of all the things that have been said this year about upcoming champions, and I think it's Esmeralda, which would be pretty cool. Is there a priority list for speed champions? I want to lock them all using time gates, but in which order? I have only Shandy. Like I said, I think Deacon and Shandy are kind of the go-to first two picks, because of the fact that they're very low cost of entry, right? Like the entry cost is low. You just have to have them and then throw them in your formation. You don't necessarily need gear and stuff. So that makes them a priority in my eyes. I do have a speed list. If you type in !gar_guides, there is a speed tier list on Reddit. That hasn't been updated in a while. But it's fairly recent. It was done earlier this year. And in that, I explain which ones are strong, but I also list off, and I felt like this was important, like what the requirements are for that strength. So if there is like major item investments or time investments in something, I list that out there so you understand when you're looking at it that, you know, sure, this is a super strong champion, but only if, and then list of circumstances, right? So Deacon and Shandy are just great on their own. Sentry, Melf, and Briv all want item levels. I shouldn't say need. They can function. It's just they have their either percent chance changes or how much they speed up changes based off their item levels. So the more item levels you dump into them, the better they get. And that can be in just a black pit of item levels for people. And if you don't want to get into that just yet, I completely understand. Havalar is a speed champion, but limited, right? Only against fiends. So you got to keep those things into account. So I think just in general, I think Deacon and Shandy are great as your first two speed champions. And then add from there. In the blessing Veterans of Avernus, it says, increases the damage of all champions by 10% for every Avernus adventure and variant completed over all campaigns. Does this mean I will get 10% on each champion per adventure completed multiplicatively? So if I've done 3 adventures and Avernus has been, I get 30%. Well, let's, since we're in Avernus, so take a look. This is the tier 3 blessing. So basically it's looking at all of the ones you've done. You know, it doesn't say if it's additive or multiplicative. Someone's probably figured this out by now, but that's a good question for the devs on either Reddit on their Q&A on Tuesdays or their live stream here on Twitch on Thursdays to see if it's multiplicative or what we've asked for a long time is for them to show the total, right? Like, just show us a total. Give it to us, please. It's a quality of life upgrade that we would love to see. So I don't know if it's additive or multiplicative off the top of my head. What I do know about this is where it says for every adventure and variant for Avernus, that does mean, you know, all of these. Like right now I'm adding 10% in one way. I'm either adding it or multiplying it, right, by doing this last one. But it's all of these and their variants. And then you can then add all of the patron versions on top of them. So right now we have 3 patrons. So ultimately it's 4 times all of those variants. Like 1 time the adventures, and then 4 times all the variants, because you've got the base variant, and then 1 you can get it again for each of the patron versions. So it's one of those things that's going to grow over time because they're adding to the campaign, but eventually the campaign will reach an end and they'll stop adding new adventures and variants. But they'll keep adding patrons. So it's kind of one of those ever increasing. I just don't know if it's 10% additive or 10% multiplicative. Is there an easy way to check feat acquisitions? No. Do you have to look at each champ's character sheet individually? Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do we know when the next event is? Yes. Oh, did you want to know? No. So this week was the Descent into Avernus content update. Next week normally would have been the event, so it would have normally started on the 14th. However, they're bumping it because next week on the 14th, like this week we went to Hell, next week Hell freezes over because we go to Icewind Dale for a Rime of the Frost Maiden. They've been letting Avernus have its release week and not get super hype, but next week we are getting an entirely new campaign, which will start off probably with just a couple adventures and a couple variants for those adventures, but maybe a tier of blessings or more if they're, well, I guess the community would say if they're feeling generous, but I say if they're being rude. I like it when it's just like one tier at the beginning, but that's me personally. So yeah, we'll get a new campaign next week, and then Liar's Night will happen the week after that. So Liar's Night should happen October 21st. I'm like, what month is it? No, it's my birth month. I know what month that is. What is the best time to use silver chests? So if you're a brand new player right away, you want to get all those slots filled in with white and green and occasionally blue gear pieces right away. And it also helps to build up your item levels, which gives power. After you've done that and you're to the point where you've got all those and you're actually opening gold chests because your stuff is all blue or you're getting purples and that kind of stuff, then you can choose when to open them. And generally speaking, I tend to say hold on to them. And open them when on your first couple of runs on an event, like when you hit your wall. Usually on the first couple of event runs, you're hitting a wall because you don't have enough gold to move forward. So holding on to silver chests that have gold in them makes a lot of sense, right? Same thing with bounty contracts. So you open those, a bit by bit as you're at your wall, and you get a bunch of more gold, and you power up your champions, and you push to a new wall, and then repeat until you're out of chests and out of bounty contracts, and then you reset with a whole ton of favor. And then the next run's even easier than before. So that's my recommendation. Is it my birthday? It is on Sunday, so the 11th. The 11th is my birthday. So happy birthday, you beautiful, bearded, brilliant bard. I am not a singer, but I guess I'm a storyteller? Yeah, I always think of bards as singers, but that's not necessarily true. They also gather information and pass it on to people, and they do so in stories or other methods, so yeah, I'll take it. First Modron party is at 6 slots having 2 champions, correct? No. Well, no. Yeah, no. Hold on. Let me go over here. So, here we go. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots with 2 champions in them. The button shows up, but I can't do anything with it. I can come over here, I can hit unlock, but right here, X, big red X, well not big, but there's a red X that says must have at least 2 champions in every bench slot. So this shows up so you know that it's a thing that you should start working towards once you have 6 swaps. Like a swap across at least 6 slots. I still need to pick up 6 more, right? And what did we say? It kills me with these big pictures. Narak, Jim, and Kreidel. Narak, Jim, and Kreidel. I want to say Kreidel's down here. Right? Now I got to go over to my other one. I can't remember which slots these people are in sometimes, folks. Kreidel's a slot 2 swap, yes. So I'm not going to pick Kreidel because I'm getting Dinar in 2 weeks. Jim is here. I already have a swap here because I have Farida from the last event. And Narak is here, and I already have a swap here. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting. But yeah, you just need 6. You need 6, and then the button shows up. Once you have 12, then you can actually do the split the party. So 2 in each. I say 12, but you need at least 2 in each slot. Is it worth unlocking my first patron once I get another time gate piece? Ooh, I think we're talking about Mert. Yeah, with the time gate pieces, right? He's the only one that needs time gate pieces. Yeah. I mean, if you're at the point where you have the loot levels, I do not on this account yet. I only have about half, but I'm almost to the point where I almost have 20 champions unlocked. I will after I do my time gate this weekend. So if you have the loot levels, I think the big question then is, how many variants have you done? Right? Because patrons are powered, like the things you get from patrons are powered by variants. You have to go in and do variants to get influence. And then that influence unlocks things in the shop, and you spend that influence on perks. So it doesn't matter that you could run flea plays and have lots of tokens, like of their currency, if you don't have the influence behind it. So if you haven't been able to clear out lots of variants across all the different campaigns, I don't know that I'd be in a hurry to do it, because then you're forcing yourself into now I've got to grind out variants, and I may not have, the level requirements are higher in a variant, like in a patron variant. The restrictions are more, so it becomes harder. Yeah, I don't know. You kind of have to judge how powerful you are, how far you've pushed in your campaigns. I don't know that I care to push to unlock it right away. Yeah. But look, I would say look at how many variants you've done, how easy it is for you to do those variants, how easy it is for you to complete that extra jump of power like requirement that each of these has, and go from there. Was there no weekend buff? No, the weekend buff is right here. You might have to refresh your client or your game or reload or whatever your platform requires, but they are all here. It's got Lazaps and Briv. What is Briv doing? The damage of all champions on Briv. Lazaps is damage of all champions. Ashara, man. If you've been trying to use Ashara as DPS, this is she's got a buff to that this weekend. Guardian of Soulwind. And Warden's damage, man, they're pushing DPS Warden, which is, I mean, it's not really a thing, folks, but sure. I've started waiting the time gates for year 1 champs. Yeah, you're now guaranteed, like if I look in this pool, when I open this up, I'm now guaranteed a year 1 champion. Right here. So I will get a year 1 champion, and then I'll get 2 other champions. And I'm guaranteed to get at least 1 champion I don't own, except I own them all in this account, so... Yeah. But yeah, you're guaranteed to get 1. Modern question. If I connect 2 damage boost nodes to my pipes at 50%, do they add up to 100%? No! They multiply against each other at 50%. All these buffs you get when they're from different places, they multiply against each other. So the separate nodes connect in the terms that they're going to appear. If you hover over the starter node, it gives you a total. But they don't add up. Or they shouldn't be adding up. It should multiply. Like in some cases, I guess it's going to depend. I guess I could go look. Like there's only one that's a health node, so it goes to 94, but I like a health reduction. I'm trying to look at where we could figure this out. But yeah, they're supposed to multiply against each other. So like if you have this, gold find at 20%, and then you have this gold find at 20%, that's not 40% bonus. That's a 400% bonus. So sometimes it isn't as important to get the flow up higher as much as it is to get it to multiple places if those places are of the same type, because they're all going to multiply in line. That is my understanding of it. Hey Gar, in the merch shop there is an athlete feat for Bruenor giving him +1 strength. What benefit is that? You got me. I don't know. Does it qualify him for Krond? Krond's over here. What's his requirement? Survival to finished is strength of 16 or higher, so let's go look. Let's go look at Bruenor. I guess I could have done it from there. No, because he's already over 16. I don't know. There might be something it affects. Like it might get you into a variant somewhere. I don't know. I mean, it gets him up to 18 strength, which is real high. Yeah, I don't know. Seems odd. Not my thing. Wow, we're having a little trouble here. This is, to be fair, we got to 470 with my speed formation. So, I'm not upset, really. I'm not super upset. We do need to do something about this Tyrannosaurus zombie. Man, they had to bring the zombie T-Rex back. Or some people like to call it the Z-Rex. It's hidden, though, by the stuff up here. Hey, here's a neat trick, folks. There's a little arrow up here, if you've never seen it. Voila. That's much better. Let's go ahead and shock the party here. Hey, Ultimate, folks. They actually do things. Look at that. Chewed right through him. Alright. Managed that situation. It's really good to farm favor. Yup. I just read his ability about favor. Sounds interesting. So, farming favor and his farming gold farming gold and his favor bonus are two separate things. He does have Adventurous Tale, which gives you a boost to your favor when you complete the adventure, based off the number of areas he's gone up. So I'm going to get a 40% multiplier, boost that actually shows up here. It's this bonus right over here to the right at the end of this. And the thing about that is I don't even have to have him in. That favor boost has already been earned. You just have to have him in as you're pushing to get all of those multipliers, like that level multiplier, to get the bonus, right? Because again, it says for each area completed with him. So, you want to have him in as long as you can. But he also has his Lucky Break, or Luck of Yondala, excuse me. Luck of Yondala. Requisition fruit. The target drops a percentage more gold per application. So he can stack this gold drop buff on top of enemies, and thus actually get you more gold during a run too. So he is good at farming favor in multiple ways. One, he gets you more gold, which turns into more favor. And two, he directly multiplies the amount of favor you get. He actually even has a feat for that. Like he does have the Yuck of that's it, folks. It's just called Yuck of Londala from now on. He does have the Requisition Lucky Break feat, which is good, and his Gold Find, this is what I use while I'm running. But then before I swap, if I'm doing a favor run, before I close, I can reset, swap in Excitable, because this changes it, right? This multiplies Adventurous Tale by 40%. So right now it's 41.04%, right? If I swap this in right before I leave, now I'm getting a 57.58% favor boost when I complete. Yeah, don't forget to do that, folks. It's super painful when you hit that reset button and then you're like, no, I forgot to put Excitable on. Been there. More often than not, that happens to me. Is there a secret code this week? There is not that I am aware of. Just the one on the screen. Is it worth it to open up patrons before you can pass area 250 in a campaign, seeing as that 250 seems to be the lowest area you need to complete with the patron variants? Yeah, 25 Hertz, I kind of addressed that earlier. I don't think so. Because again, you've got to... If you can't beat the variant, the patron's just sitting there unused. Completely. Because you have to be able to buy stuff in the shop. Like, it looks like there's, you don't see the requirements here because once you meet them, they go away. But there are requirements for buying all of this stuff. And it's influence. It's the amount of influence you've earned. And the further you go down this list, the more influence you need. A lot of people try to grind out just enough influence to get this time gate piece every week. But that's still a grind. That's still a lot you need to get. And if you don't have the power to complete those variants and at a very high level and with more restrictions, because again, he only lets you use good or evil champions. If you can't do that, then they're just sitting there not being used. Also, keep in mind that patrons are a time sink. I mean, they're just like other adventures. But you're almost forced, in a sense. They encourage you to do them every week because uh, the amount of currency you can earn from running free plays resets every week, and they give you challenges that you can gain extra currency from, and those are things you end up doing every week to make sure you're maximizing the amount of currency you can get because those are limited numbers. Influence and currency for patrons are limited. So anywhere you can get them, you tend to try to get them, but it becomes a time sink. How are you able to open a patron before being able to pass Area 250 in any campaign? Okay, this is the wrong place. If you're not pushing for favor, like I can get into the 300s now, a couple weeks in, and I don't have the 2,000 loot levels, right? But I've been playing this game for 3 years. I know exactly how to build my formations. I know exactly which champions to pick from time gates. I know when and where to push. I know how to favor farm. I know how to spend my gems efficiently, right? Like, there are people out there that may not be able pushing past that very far at all, that have already gotten these loot levels, especially with all the codes for chests that come out all the time, or if they've thrown down some cash on the game on a bunch of chests and champions. Like you can do that and still not be able to push super far. So it's possible. It's just, there are things you could probably optimize, and work on that. It's great. I'm a new player. I'd like to know how to farm gems. Roman Chicken, I'm so glad that we finished this adventure. Look at that, 950 gems. Speaking of, one way to farm gems is just to complete adventures and variants, folks. Let's bail out of here, because that's a nice chunk, right? I worked pretty hard for that. I didn't at all. That's what 3 years of playing will get you, folks. So this is how you farm gems. You don't have to have these specific champions, but it is commonly accepted in the community that Mad Wizard is where you go to farm gems. The reason being, the first 30 or so levels of Mad Wizard have enemy spawners like this, where enemies pour out of something like an object or a portal, and new enemies appear the moment you kill them. So the key to this is having familiars. So what's actually killing here, I could take all the champions off the field and we would still be progressing. What's actually killing are those 5 familiars on the field. They're killing everything instantly because I've got a familiar on my click damage down at the bottom left. And they're picking up all the gold instantly and any items dropped by bosses instantly. The heroes, the champions, are there to supplement the click damage and to help speed up my progress through Mad Wizard. But what people do is some people will just run to 30 and then reset. Like people used to script that. People do it with with the Modrons. You could literally just run to 30 with your click damage, like just with 6 familiars basically, or as many familiars as you have, run through and then reset and just churn that over and over again. And what that does is, because things spawn so much faster with those enemy spawners, you can earn gems faster because you're progressing through the levels and getting to these boss stages like this and getting that bag to go and popping those gems faster. So in those first 30 levels, you can do it super fast. So people do this just on repeat. People before automation, people did this on repeat. Even before I could reset it manually, this is how I farm gems. I just had to keep an eye on it. Now it does its thing in the background, and I make, 50k plus gems a week. I don't know. I don't keep track of it. It just goes up, and I spend them. So my champions here, though, specifically are speed champions, primarily. So I've got Havalar, which there are some fiends here, so Havalar speeds up the fiend levels. Melf, who bounces around, what he does is multiple things, and it can vary. So, he can give you double credit on stuff. He can make things spawn faster, or he can make more things spawn. Shandy works as a speed potion, so she's just making everything faster. Deacon makes things get to the point where they die faster. Sentry reduces the requirements. So you'll see up here at the top right, instead of 25, I only have to get 17. All those speed champions are making this run go faster. And then I have 4 multi-attack champions. So these are people who do more than one hit with every attack. And the reason they exist is for those levels that we just saw a little bit ago, where there's a barrier that's got a bunch of segmented health. They chew through that barrier real quick. Whereas your familiars, against any kind of segmented health, a familiar only clicks once every like 6 seconds. So it would be super low progress to get through even 25 bits of health, right? Because 25 by 6, like that's what, 2.5 minutes it would take to get past the level, and instead I get past it in a few seconds. So yeah, this is gem farming. This is how people farm gems. There are a couple variants that people have said are faster than this, but they require a little more finagling, right? Because you can't complete the variant, because variants are only one-time things, right? So, you know, in general free play stuff, Mad Wizard is where everybody goes. Their formations may be a little different. Some people use Briv. Some people have a high jump chance with Briv, like here is his unnatural haste ability. Some people have dumped so many item levels into Briv that it's worth finagling Briv stacks at the end of each run because of how quickly he will run through Mad Wizard for you. I have not done that. You know, I've got a level 56 Theodenorax, I guess how we're going to pronounce that. So I don't get those super high jump levels. What should we do? We got a little less than an hour left. I have a new player. I have a chest that requires a character combination. How do I find this? I'm confused. So there is a combination system, unlock a lock chest, where it takes you to this cryptex and you punch in a code, which there's one right down there. Okay, I haven't actually done this today. Hey, pause, you doll bend. And then boom, gets you a chest, right? This one, today's gives you a gold chest. You can punch out these things all the time. There's chests given out on streams like this. There's chests given out on podcasts. They're posted on the subreddit all the time. Whenever they happen, they're also posted in the Discord. You can get those combinations. But these are your actual chests. And I have never seen an actual chest require a combination. Just this. This is the cryptex. Not an actual chest. It is a chest generator. Midnight Griff, do you just do the 50 levels on the time gate to get the champion then reset? Or do you push? So, we got some time. Here, let's just do this. I don't care about this gem run, so I'll do more gem runs all weekend long, right? So when I start a time gate, I guess I'm going to have to make a decision here. Because I own all 3 and because I have full epics on all of them, what I look at this point is my item levels, and these are all at the floor, roughly. I consider one off to be the same. So I tend to use Walnut more than I use the other 2, so I'm going to throw some levels on Walnut. When I come into this, you're going to have 3. I'll get more into this tomorrow, but basically I'll do this first run, me personally, because I know what I can get out of a run. I'm going to throw my familiars out like this, and I'm going to throw an hour of clairvoyance, an hour of giant strength, an hour of fire breath, and an hour of speed. And all I'm going to do is run this for that hour. I'm going to run it to the end of the hour, and then I'm going to reset. I don't try to push super far because I guess I put fire breath down. I don't need to click something down there. I don't need to run me personally because I have a very powerful champions. I have perks. I have blessings. I've got a Modron core that's already got me sitting at EO7 gold find. I don't have to do a lot of work in my time gate, so I can throw an hour-long potion down, and I'm going to get like 500 levels out of it. That's going to get me enough favor to do the next adventure and the variant and bail. I can be out in 3 runs and it takes about 3 hours, and I'm good. Now, if I'm trying to push for extra chests, I may actually push deeper on that second run, because like I said, I can easily get to like 400 or 500 on this run. So the second run, I may push to like 700, because my cap, like where I have pushed through, is to 951 before. It takes a lot of work to get over 800, so I'll just run to 7 and I'll call it a day. But yeah, so it's going to vary on person to person on how far you push and how you do it. But for me, I use that first run to build up favor, but I don't like try to push all the way to my wall, to my personal wall with that hour-long potion. Some people may burn an hour-long potion and get to their actual wall. That works. I mean, I just spend an hour on each of the first 2 runs. The second run, I may try to push a little further if I know I can get a couple more silver chests out of it, because the silver chests come at unique 100 level increments. We'll get way into deep. We'll get deep into time gates tomorrow. I forget this every week. I'm so not used to doing this on Saturdays. 9 a.m. Pacific. Gaarawarr's Guide to Time Gates and Combat. So we're gonna talk about time gates, but time gates I don't feel takes up an entire hour. So we're also gonna add some combat stuff into it. Talk about rolls and debuffs and Bud and base DPS and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to throw all that in there, because that's how you push in a time gate. Is there something special about Mana Wizard for gem farming? Yeah, I think we kind of went over that. It's the super fast spawn speed from those enemy generators, which are mostly portals but aren't all portals. Oh, do I have a? No, that's garbage. That's how long ago I did this. That's a garbage formation. Hold on, let me get a bunch of people out here, and then we'll come back. No, I want Freely. Again, get that lucky boy in there for that gold generation. So what do I say when I say multiple of 30? So the first 50 levels in any adventure are unique, like the 1 through 50, and then 51 through 100 is just a repeat of 1 through 50. So when I say multiples of 30, I mean 30, and then 80, and then 130, and then 180. All of those, like you see up here, I've got my Modron set to reset at 330, which I need to turn off. I'll just turn all this stuff off. Oops. Those initial 30 levels are faster than like going to 1 to 30 is faster than going from 31. Like things slow down from 31 to 50. So people like to just run 1 to 30 and then reset, or 1 to 80, or 1 to 130. Like it depends on where your click damage wall is. So wherever you're click killing instantly, whatever you can get up to. I was doing 280, and then on stream earlier this week I realized, oh, I can go to 330, and then I tried 380 and I can't quite get to 380 yet. But that's a function of your favor, right? I'm at E42 in Torm. That's all going to be a function of your favor. So that's kind of what we mean when we're talking about multiples of 30. Not sure I want to pick up on the free time gate, Dinar, Morgaine, or Barrowin. Dinar is coming up in 2 weeks if you want to hold on and get him outside of a time gate. It's your choice. Morgaine, I feel, is a solid option. She is further up in the roster, right up here. Swaps with Makos and everybody in that slot. So, your call there. What do we want? Yeah, we want like this. Still can't quite. There we go. All right. Breaker Fist. Each variant, as you level up champions, they get upgrades. Are those upgrades always multiplicative? So, if you're referring to these, like increase the damage of Sentry by 200%, it is a multiplier on top of whatever they're already at. So this is a 3x multiplier. That's what 200% is, based off wherever they already are. So every time you're doing that, you're multiplying it against itself. How do I make an adventure auto reset for gem farming? Modron automation. So under adventuring parties, click on the little eye. Your Modron core, if you hook up the automation component, activates this little button down here that says set up automation and brings up this screen, which lets you set the formation you want to use, set the target area goal, and set any buffs, any potions you want to use for those runs. If you want more information on that, I did a deep dive into that like 4 or 5 episodes ago on Gaarawarr's Guide. So Gaarawarr's Guide to Multi-Party and Modron Automation. You can hit that up on the CNE Games YouTube channel. Sasha may be able to drop a link for that. I don't know if there's a command for that yet. What determines loot level? Loot level is what the game calls, well, the rest of the community calls it item levels. And that is basically down here. Like, so when this says toothbrush, golden level 84, 84 is the loot level for this one item. And so when they talk about, like when Mert talks about needing 2,000 loot levels, he's talking about all of these item levels that are spread out across all of your characters and all of their gear. Item levels generically come out of chests that you open when you get those duplicate items. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. That's giving you more power to those items via item levels. You can also place item levels on with blacksmithing contracts. So that's what they're talking about when they're talking about loot levels. It's the rest of the community just calls them item levels. Still pretty new to the game. The boss, Shambling Mound, just got stuck 30 minutes ago. Since then, my familiar keeps clicking on it, having stolen about 60% of its HP. The champions don't attack at all. That's a bug. Don't sit for 30 minutes on that. Just back up. Like, back up a level. Like, here. Like, turn your auto progress off. And then just, like, click on the previous level, right? And then turn your auto progress back on. And redo that level. That's the quickest way to get past a bug where your champions stop attacking or something freezes up. Try that. If that doesn't fix it, put in a support ticket and tell them you're stuck. And they will try to assist you from there. And maybe I should probably do something formation. I don't really know what I want to do here. This is not... Yeah. That's fine. This is fine. All right. Let's see. What is the best way to get familiars? Gems at first, right? You can pick them up, either by clicking here and then clicking on the one that you want. Wow, that didn't stay up long. And then clicking on the one that you want. Or you can go over here now. There's a gem item thing where you can buy whatever you haven't purchased yet in terms of familiars is going to show up here. This would probably be better demonstrated on my other account. So let me go over there. Boom. Gem items. Look at all those as they load in. So, they cost different amounts. They can get pretty pricey in gems. Like the top level is in the 100 to 200,000 range. It's just a function of as you progress further through the game, you'll have more and more gems that you're earning, especially once you unlock Modron and multi-party. Specifically Modron automation. But you can also, hit up the... I guess I didn't need to close this. You can also hit up the packs and you can grab, like, Xanathar's Goldfish Familiar Pack, which comes with Silgar and some potions. Or, like, here's the Yeti Tyke one, and that comes with... along with lots of potions, it comes with lots of blacksmithing contracts, which again we set our item levels, so power for your champions, and potions of polish, which basically create shinies on a random item. So there's a lot of different ways. It just kind of depends on what you're comfortable with. A lot of people like to grind out the gem ones. Maybe they just can't really throw cash into the game, but if you can, that's a great way to do it, to support the game and to get you things that make your game easier. Let's see. I'm going to go with the flow. Hold on, let me get these set up here so that it's kind of rocking and rolling on its own and I don't have to look at it for a while. I guess I should get... sometimes I forget that I have familiars, folks. This is a problem with running multiple accounts. I do not have familiars on my other accounts. I've gotten into this habit of leveling everything up when it's a brand new adventure. As a new player, should I focus on a single campaign or spread out? So, I mean, I just started a new account. I went in through Sword Coast and unlocked Dritz, and I found that that lets me get all of the Tier 1 blessings, including the global blessing, maxed out. And then we unlocked Dritz, and then I switched over to the Tomb of Annihilation campaign. And now I'm pushing deep through that one because I want to unlock Azaka. So I think you want to target certain things. And I think Dritz is a good point just to say, hey, I achieved something and I unlocked one of the arguably more famous characters in the Forgotten Realms. And then dive into, but more importantly, you get that double damage global blessing out of Sword Coast. Then hop over to Tomb of Annihilation. You can push super deep there, super fast, and get lots of blessings. The global blessings are what you're really there for, and to pick up Azaka. Once you hit Azaka, then you could swap over to Waterdeep, and you could push through to grab like the Tier 1 blessing there. So you kind of dip in different amounts into campaigns, but the goal is to push through them based off what blessing you're aiming for. So, like the big one is the double damage one here in Sword Coast. Gems isn't as important until later when you're really farming gems. So you can then just jump into Tomb of Annihilation, and you'll grab this one. You'll grab Temporary Worship, which gets you that conversion from events. I've even got up through Golden Luck already, which increases the number of gold chest drops you get on my other account. I think that's what I'm working on right now. And if you're new and you max it all out, you could grab these. All of these are pretty solid for new. So pushing all the way through and getting all the blessings in Tomb of Annihilation is pretty straightforward. Then you jump into Waterdeep and grab this double damage one. And then you can choose if you want to go further or jump back to Sword Coast. Or yeah, from there, then you're going to have a bit more of an idea what you're doing and maybe able to make that informed decision for yourself. As a new player, Frozen Yogurt, should I be funneling all of my gems into silver chests to fill out my champion gear slots? Early on, yeah. But honestly, I got full green within a week. Just putting in the chests, like the silver chests that I loot just from playing the game, got me to full green in a week. And then I switched over to gold chests. If you hit exclamation point GVA, if someone hasn't done it already in chat, it'll give you Gems Visual Aid that Mars and I work together on. And it gives you kind of like a flowchart style with tiers of decision making for when you should spend things on what when it comes to gems. It currently has the wrong price for the Mage Hand Familiar. That should be bought basically right away. It used to cost 1,000 gems. Now it costs 250. So at 250, you literally do like 2 adventures in the game and can afford it. And it's worth it. But after that, it's pretty accurate. It just doesn't include mode round stuff because that's newer. Wait, question. Silver chest drops are not random? In time gates, you get a silver chest for every unique 100 levels you get. Like here, I've done Walnut Party Crashers to 147. I'm going to open this up. There's going to be a Walnut silver chest. Hey, look at that. Walnut silver chest. When I hit 200, another one will drop in. This is different from events. Events, the free plays you run to 50, you just have to run and complete 50, and then you get a random chest. There's nothing that changes or gives you more by going deeper in events, but in time gates, they specifically changed this within the last year in preparation for the changes they were making to events. So there's only ever 3 event champions. It's the most recent 3. So all those year 1 event champions became time gate champions. So now you can push for gear in them by pushing deeper to get all of those silver chests, and then you get those 3 golden chests guaranteed from the 2 adventures and the 1 variant. Where do I set up automation? Again, it's under adventuring parties, or if this button is showing up, you can click there. This is automation. Again, I go into that in super in-depth detail in the video on the YouTubes. Just look for the Gaarawarr's Guides playlist, and there should be one that says multi-party and Modron automation, and it's like I spend an hour just going into all of that. So all of your questions you can get answered there, but it is under those buttons or under this button. You get there either way. Freely or Naris? Freely. Need another slot 12, but working towards a Zaka. Yeah, no, freely. Freely, because you're going to get a Zaka, and those two together, peanut butter and chocolate. So my very first time gate, I just got Grama doing the second chest. After I get all 3 chests, is there a point to do the free plays or go back to normal campaigns? So, again, if you feel like you can easily push, like if you got to like 175 and you feel like you can beat 200, beat 200. Get that second unique, get that second chest for unique 100 levels. But that doesn't mean you necessarily have to try to grind out to 300 if that's not something you can easily do. If you can, do it. But it's not as big a deal. Like in events, it's a big deal to farm favor, but not in time gates. Time gates, the favor conversion back is only 2.5% per EO1 favor you earn in the event or in the time gate, whereas in an event it's 10% per. So it's 4 times better in events or 4 times worse in time gates, however you want to look at it. On average, to get the core champion to have both feat slots unlocked, how much basic favor do we need to get to? Ooh, Astro Samurai, someone has done the math on that, and I never really look at it. So I can't tell you. I don't know. Because I'm never looking at my favor totals. I'm just pushing into the campaign. Yeah, somebody's got that all broken down. There's spreadsheets and stuff, and yeah, I don't know. I just push and then unlock them as I get them. But for a lot of them now, you can get before you reach their soft cap, which is when this little upgrade symbol turns into a circle with a line through it. That's called the soft cap because there's no more main upgrades after that. Like you can put more levels in, but you don't get big bonuses like this anymore. And I just don't pay attention to what the favor is for that. Probably because I've been playing 3 years, so I was there already. On the Marzawar account, time gates, Saspia, Regis, and Spurt. Already have Turiel. Celeste is the only healer, so can't really use Regis. Plus the Nor in 2 weeks. Have Spurt from the first, but didn't get an epic. Ooh. Huh. I would still pick up someone that you don't have because you're still going to need more champions total unlocked when you get to for Vajra as a patron. So having 2 in a slot is really it's kind of getting to Mert, but also getting to Modron, multi-party Modron. So if you're not worried about those, then just grab one of the other 2 you don't own because they're going to potentially help you out in variants. I mean, I know we're not doing in the Marzawar challenge specifically, we're not doing lots of variants, but we are doing some, so you might as well make it easier on yourself. Just opened my first time gate ever and got Dadius. How do people typically use him? The times I've seen him used, he's used as a support champion. Where even is he? Here he is. Times I've seen him used more as a support champion for other Magic champions. Don't see it get him used a lot. I don't see him used a lot as a DPS. But it's depends. Like you would use him to support like Delina if you were gonna run him right away in your brand new account. Whether or not he's gonna be better for you than your Calliope, arguable. Just with the gear out of a time gate, probably not. Calliope might still overshadow him. Let me see. Am I getting any updates? No. Okay. Yay! I think I read through all of those. Wow. We've had over 60 questions. We're almost up to 70 questions answered so far. That's a lot. I like this. I like having Sasha. I'm just gonna say I like having Sasha pull questions when it's super busy like this lately, because I never know how many questions. I never know how many questions I've been answering. Now I do. But when there's like over 500 people in chat, it's so hard for me to keep up and scroll through chat. Everyone knows I'm always so behind in chat. And it's usually because I'm trying to scroll through all the great conversations you're all having, but now I just get to grab questions, and it's nice. Because now I don't feel super stressed, because I'm like 3 away from the bottom of the question list. Let's see. I'm in the time gate for Caddy Bree, and there's a boss with a purple life bar with silver linings. What does that mean? If I remember correctly, this has to do with Lolth. I think there's like it's a spider thing, so they gave it a fancy bar, and you've got to get through that fancy bar before you get to the normal, either the normal health or the normal segmented health of the boss. So it's basically just another way to add an extra set of health on top of, the red, then gold. Now they've added purple on top of that with some fancy curling things. Should we open silver chests first on an event until all the items are gray or green before we open golden chests? I'm getting called out on my obsessive collection disorder. Doing it that way is specifically about filling out your collection without any holes in it. What does that mean? I can't even really show you on this account anymore because I don't have any. I'm so happy about that. But like if I were missing, one of these items, that would be a hole in my collection, and that would just, it doesn't change my power. It doesn't change. There's no achievements for this. There should be. But yeah, it's just sometimes we get real annoyed later on in the game when there's a gap in our collection. So opening silver chests first lets you hopefully fill in the lower tiers before then opening the gold chests, which only drop the higher level stuff. Because if you get a gap, like the way chests open up into things, gold specifically, it looks for things that don't already have that level or higher. So if I were to open a gold first and I get a blue, and I don't have the white or the green, I start opening up silver chests, that slot that doesn't have a white or a green isn't going to be prioritized at all. It's going to prioritize any other empty slot that it could put into. Otherwise, it's duplicate, and then it just becomes pure RNG whether I get those or not. So, open the order you open them in, really, with the limited numbers you're getting in an event or even a time gate, doesn't affect the power that you're getting out of a champion at all. So don't think that you have to open them in any kind of specific order. Opening them in singles or in groups, that doesn't change anything either. Some people think it does, but it doesn't. It is just really about your collection. Because if I want to cry, I come over here to my new account and like see this gap. This gap exists because I'm just opening them up as I get them. Like Niley's got a gap on a weight, But early on, you just want power. You want that power. Open it up right away and get it and use them. If you care, if what you care about is your collection, then open silvers first, and then, like I open silvers until like the second Friday, the stream, like the second Friday of an event on stream. I open up all my golds for everybody, but by then I've usually filled out the rest of my collection and have earned like a couple dozen silvers. So yeah. Question: Delin a font of magic or font of chaos? Making me look at Delina. So it's talking about the specialization choices. The way you figure this out, and the way I make my decisions on this, is I look at this and it's Delina's font of magic increases Delina's empowered spell ability. Empowered spell basically adds, there's that flame there. It adds damage over time to the end of it, and this is basically going to make that dot bigger. Whereas Tides of Chaos affects her Surge of Power, and her Surge of Power actually ramps up her actual base attack damage. So since we're living in a Bud world, I'm a Bud boy, and I live in a Bud world. No, that doesn't rhyme. I'm not a Bud girl, though, so I can't really sing that song. Since we're living in a Bud world, base ultimate damage, and that's base ultimate damage is based on your basic attack power. Ramping up Tides of Chaos is the way I go, specifically. Because I'm doing that straight up damage first, which sets this, which allows me to fire off all of these for tons of damage. Yeah. That's what I choose. However, if you're trying to get Delina's achievement, then go for the dot. Right? Because the achievement is based off burning an enemy down. Like burning a boss. Do I get to choose which champion to use the Potion of Polish? Nope. Nope. It specifically Like I said, upgrades a random loot item owned by a random champion to shiny, granting it 50% more power. It just picks one. What do gold chests drop after you max out all your Evergreen champions? The same stuff they did before. Yeah, the contents don't change. They're still dropping those things. It's just you don't need them anymore, so they're dropping duplicates, which are getting you item levels, and you know, occasionally potentially a shiny. You're still getting the things that you really want at that point are bounty contracts and all the other consumables that you can use right out of gold chests. You're also still getting feats if you haven't got all your feats, right? So gold chests still stay valuable. They just once you've gone full epic on your core and evergreen champions, people stop buying gold chests with gems for the most part, and tend to just go all in on the silvers because the drop rate for a shiny is 1 in 1,000. It doesn't even matter what kind of chest it is. So it's more gem efficient to buy silvers if you're thin shiny farming, which is what people tend to transition into. I personally still buy a good chunk of gold chests every event because I like to refill all those contracts that I use each event. Given your obsessive collecting, is there a small part of you that regrets not keeping one of each kind of chest unopened? Not at all. Not at all. To have the official complete mint condition factory sealed chest collection? No. No. I want them all. I care about the collection in the sense of the in-game collection terminology right up here like this. I care about that one. I'm a big fan of collections in games if the game does it right in fleshing out a collection of things. Man, do I wish... Well, yeah, I like MMOs that have solid collection type things. So a lot of times they'll do that via an achievement system or whatever. But like if they have ways to collect all the things, that's just my favorite. That tends to be my favorite feature. How do I equip a familiar? A couple different ways. If you own one, you can click on this, find it. Which one? It says I've got one in here that I haven't used. I don't know where it is, though. So you come in here, and if you could find it, you can drag it out onto the field. You can drag them around and place them wherever. But also, on PC, you can hold down the F key. And you'll notice all these things light up with these white boxes. And you can just click wherever you want to put it. Oh, it was Spurt. Okay. You can drag it off, or you can put it like straight on one. I can put it down here. Right. So F to place familiars. Thanks, Gaarawarr. I've learned so much from your streams and guides. Happy birthday. Thank you. And I'm glad they helped. That's what they're there for. I'm trying to do slowly doing updates to all my guides. It's a slow process, folks. Yeah. There's 69 champion guides. Just champion guides now. Just the champion guides. Takes a while. It's daunting. It's almost like, oh, really? But yeah, there's a lot. Sometimes I regret certain guides I make. When should I use a potion of polish? If you're newer, right away. If you have to ask me that question, right away. Right away. Burn it. Burn it, because it is completely random as to who it's going to land on. And, best case scenario, you get to use that 50% bonus right away. Worst case scenario, it ends up somewhere it's not going to matter anyway. Burn it right away. Now, I realize I say that while sitting on 29 of them, but I did qualify that answer with, if you have to ask me. And that's basically because for me, after 3 years, I am to the point where I almost have every core and Evergreen champion fully gilded, which meaning they either have a golden or a shiny item. I'm missing 2. I'm missing 1 item on Dragonbait and 1 on Alcoria. I've been within about a dozen for a while, and I started holding on to them because what happens then, because a potion of polish can go anywhere, But all those shinies are coming out of either natural shinies out of silver chests, or they're coming from wild offers or things. What happens once that's full is then when I start opening all those potion of polishes, they can only land on event champions, which is the ideal situation, because once you have full core evergreen shiny, opening up those silver chests like that I get, like this is just, I haven't bought any of these. This is just from playing the game, looting since the last event started. Opening these and getting a shiny is then just a dupe shiny. It can't go on an event champion, and you're never going to get enough event. You can't farm that many. You can't farm 1,000 or 1,500 event champion chests, because again, shinies are 1 in 1,000. So the best way to put shinies on event champions is going to be potions of polish. So I'm holding onto all of those, but that's only because I'm almost complete, right? On those core evergreens. Up until that point, I was just burning them every time I got them. Totally fine with that. As for the Legend of Faerun Dritz kills, what's the best way to do that? So this is speaking to his. Let's collapse all, make it easier. Champions. Legend of Faerun. Have Dritz kill 20 or more enemies with a single whirl of steel ultimate. So what I like to do is get to a level where he can insta-kill everything, right? With his ult. I build up the formation so that I can do that, but then I pull, and no one else is killing. Then I pull him out of the formation. And then I let 20 or more enemies build up on the tank. And then I put him in and hit the ult. And then bam, you're now a Legend of Faerun. Yeah, that's it. Alternately, you can just use him as your primary DPS all the time and have his ultimate firing off all the time, and at some point near your wall, it'll probably trigger. But if you just want to get it right away, that'll do it. First time gate ever. Briv, Birdsong, or Paulton? Briv. Birdsong and Paulton are great, but Briv. He's greater. Is there a reason wild offers are so bad lately? I think that's just partially it's subjective based off your feelings towards wild offers, and partially it's just RNG. You may be getting a run of things that are maybe more expensive. You know, maybe they're more money than you'd like to spend, and maybe you're getting things that you just don't like. You know, ultimately it's going to trend that way, because as you filter out, like you're self-selecting the offers you do like, you're pulling those items out of the system, and then you're only left with items that maybe you're not so interested in, and maybe at any price you're not interested in, or maybe you would only be into them for the very best possible $9.99 scenario with the best specific bonuses. So you're just going to not like the rest. I don't know that. I don't know your subjective nature, like what you consider good or not. So it's hard to say. I've seen some amazing. I just saw probably one of the best, most straightforward wild offers I've ever seen. And it had 3 things. It had a GE, it had chests with a shiny, and it had gems for $9.99. It's like, or no, it was just chests and gems for $9.99. If it had had a shiny, I'd have bought it, because that's basically all meat, no filler. Like, I mean, that's, how else can you put it? So I know they've changed. You know, whether you like that change, who knows? Where do you get potions of polish? Random gold chests? No. Potions of polish you will occasionally get as a reward in certain mini events like the anniversary or the spring celebration. Things like that. It could occasionally be like, you know, if you log in and collect your chest for 7 days straight, you'll get a potion of polish at the end. But usually they're coming right out of the shop, right here, right now. Like we saw earlier when I was looking at that pack for the Yeti Tyke. It comes with 2 potions of polish. Generally speaking, you are going to get a shiny for every $10 you spend. If this says $20, generally speaking, this will give you 2 shinies. If there are no chests to put those shinies in, they give you a potion of polish. Generally speaking, like here's the Arctic Fox for $15, potion of polish, right? Now, if they give you chests, like here's 7 Wolfgar chests, you're not going to get a potion of polish. Like you're going to get shinies. Like see, there's 3 shinies because they're dumping that into these Regis. You'll get 1 in the Caddy Breach group, you'll get 1 in the Wolfgar group, and you'll get 1 in the Regis group. But then they give you supply chests for Brunor, so instead of, to make up for that, they give you a potion of polish instead, right? So you got to look for which one they're giving you in those shops. The other way is if you have, if I have a shiny Bracers of the Epic Adventure on Deacon, but then they offer this as a golden epic, and I buy that golden epic, that golden overrides the guild. The shiny becomes golden, and that shiny pops out as a potion of polish in my inventory, which is one of the ways my potions of polish are as high as they are, because when I see wild offers or just or come across or a new weekend offer that has a golden for something I already have a shiny on, that suddenly becomes more valuable to me because I'm getting an extra $10 of value off of that via that potion of polish. We got about 10 minutes left. We're like 80 questions deep, folks. This is good. I like this. I like tracking these. Gar, I used a potion of polish and it landed on Delina. Should I delete my account and start over? Man, that's the hardcore mode of Idle Champions, I think. Start up a champion, play through. If a shiny ever lands on Delina, delete the account, start again. Oh man, that's so mean. For people who know, Delina's not a bad champion anymore. She now has other champions that can support her and make her viable. But for the longest time, she was just a very sad girl sitting on a bench by herself. So there's lots of just Delina memeing. Don't take it personally if you use Delina. She can actually do work now. Gar, you said something the other day about getting bonus gems for a week after purchasing something in the store. Does that apply to any purchase or only specific deals? Danik, specifically Founders Pack Year 3. Let's go over to the other account because I already own it on my main account because it's one of the best deals you can get. Founders Pack 3 gives you a Jarlaxle pirate skin, which on its own makes this worth it. I mean, come on. Pirate skins. But anyway, it's $20 value. As I said before, usually you get a shiny per like $10. You get 5 of them here, folks. 5 for $20. You also get the skin. You get this cute little hedgehog familiar. You get 42 gold chests, Nan-X gems. I don't remember how many gems. You get a bunch of potions and some contracts, but one of the things that isn't showing up here, maybe this is how they're trying to tell you that. I could have sworn there was a flat gem reward too. There is a gem bonus that you get for a week that gives you 50% more gems off every boss you kill for a week. That only comes off the Founders Packs. So there was a year 1, there was a year 2, now there's a year 3. Yeah. I've never seen them come off anything else. Do character chests guarantee new items? Like second silver chest gets an item you didn't get in the first silver chest you opened. So, yeah, we're still on this account. Let me find it. I don't know if I have a scenario where I can explain this because I think all my champions have gear to a certain degree. All right, let's look at more game. This is the best I can do. So if I were to open a silver chest here, what a silver chest looks for, and the only thing it looks for, is there a slot that doesn't have an item I drop in it? There is. So if I were to open a silver chest here, I would be guaranteed to get an item that drops into this slot. You would think, right? But no, because the other thing it does is it looks to see if it can upgrade something. Fortunately, there are no upgrades here. Because technically it could drop like a green, which would be an upgrade. So like silver chests, this is where chest rules get finicky and we have to finagle things a bit. A silver chest basically wants to know, can I drop an upgrade for something? And it considers having no item and then giving an item to be an upgrade. Keep that in mind. So it's not going to necessarily look for whites and then upgrade them to greens. It's going to look for an empty slot first. So that silver chest will drop something in an empty slot. It's going to want to try to drop an empty slot first. It may, though, upgrade a white to a green. It's real weird. So you have to kind of keep an eye out for that. Where you get more solid rules is in gold chests. Gold chests will always drop a blue item, and they will always drop an upgrade unless you are full blue. Like you have all blue items. Because the upgrade after that is an epic, and it doesn't guarantee epics. You're not guaranteed an epic drop unless you open at most 10, right? There's a pity timer. So if I were to open a gold chest for Morgaine, chances are it would drop something here. But if we looked at, let's say we look at Tyrell. If I open a gold chest here, it's not going to guarantee me any of these because I already have at least blue or better in all these slots. But eventually it's going to drop an epic. And if I were just opening Tyrell chests, which don't exist, but for example, if I were opening Tyrell chests, once I hit a pity timer, if it did drop an epic, it would automatically slot into one of these places that doesn't have an epic already. Chests are weird, folks. But yeah, the golds are going to try to... This is how I got actually all blue gear, right? Is I just had bunches of gold chests on this account. And I worked my way up to either get all blues or blues and a purple in all these slots. And it only took me like 2 weeks because I just opened them with that in mind. So yeah, silver chests are weird. They're going to try to give you an upgrade, but sometimes it thinks that upgrade is an empty slot. Sometimes it thinks it's taking you to a green from a white. If you already have all whites, it's not. If you already have all at least white in everything and you open a silver chest, you're not guaranteed anything. You're not guaranteed anything at all. Other than you're going to get gear, but it could all be dupes. Even though silver chests can drop greens and blues, you're just not guaranteed anything. And we're almost done. We got like 3 minutes left. I don't know if I'll get through all of these. Wow, we've got almost 90 questions today. But I am towards the end of the list, folks. It's nice. It's nice. Is the guaranteed epic in one of the next 4 chests bonus from gold chests localized to the chest type? Yes. So every time you get a new chest type that drops into your inventory, if it's the first time you've ever seen that chest type, it's going to be at a pity timer of 4. Once you've burned that pity timer, then it resets to the normal pity timer of 10. But it's for each unique type of chest. That's why these weekend chests are almost always a unique new type of chest, because they play off giving you that one. It's really good marketing, folks. They play off giving you the one in the newsletter and then giving you that option to buy 3 because that makes 4 and guarantees you that pity epic. Heroes that build up over many instances like Zorbu and Torgar, are they called something? Zorbu specifically is called overpowered, but Torgar and Black Viper and Morgaine, not so much. So it just kind of depends. Just like ramping champions. Zorbu is the only one so far that's really overpowered in that role. Zorbu or Black Viper is limited and unfortunately and isn't quite so great. Morgaine scales kind of permanently, but requires favor, so is always limited by how far you're able to push. And Torgar, he gets his bonuses up to certain numbers of stacks, but he doesn't buff himself with those stacks, like with his buff based off those stacks, like Zorbu does. So he ends up not being as strong, but he still makes a good support. He just doesn't make as great a DPS. Somewhere else to see where the different mobs NPCs are. There are a couple of websites the community's made that lets you do that. Ask on the Discord. So ! Discord and chat should get you that. Are shinies unique until all evergreen shinies are acquired, or will they duplicate based on chance? You cannot get a dupe shiny until you have them all for whatever that chest drops. So generic silver and gold chests drop just for core and evergreen champions, so you will not get a dupe until you get all your core evergreen fully gilded. That means gold or shiny. Yeah. So yeah, you just can't grab duplicates that way. However, once you are fully gilded everywhere, shinies will then duplicate. Duplicates gives you 125 item levels. However, you can't use potions of polish because there isn't anywhere for it to go. And we're done, folks. There probably are a couple more questions. Head over to my show tomorrow at 9 a.m. Gaarawarr's Guide to Time Gates and Combat for a more in-depth discussion on time gates, a more focused discussion on time gates, and also a discussion of combat. And then, that's the first hour. The second hour will be Q&A. We'll try to target all the questions that are based on those topics first, and then we'll hit anything else. I am off. I've got to do some things and get ready because I'm playing D&D tonight. I got my dwarven drinking mug ready to go, drinking horn. I got my math rocks in my Wizards of the Coast bag, but I'll probably be rolling on D&D Beyond because it's never been easier. No, we're not sponsored by D&D Beyond. Wouldn't that be cool, though? But I am playing with Lauren Urban from D&D Beyond. She is graciously DMing my game tonight, along with Margaret and Lee from Griddle Champions, and Sean, and Nevada, and potentially Mars. We'll see. Mars was trying to get off work early. So I'm going to do that tonight, and I'm going to be back tomorrow with some more Gaarawarr guides. So I will see you all then, folks. Bye!